Following the shocking controversy surrounding Jaden Ivey, the basketball world has been thrown into chaos. What started as one player's Instagram live has turned into one of the biggest debates the NBA has faced in years. Fans, analysts, and even professional athletes are asking the same question. Was Jaden Ivey released because of his religious beliefs, or was there much more happening behind the scenes? The controversy exploded after Ivey went live on Instagram and criticized the NBA's Pride Month campaign, calling it a celebration of sin based on his Christian beliefs. Within hours, the Chicago Bulls announced they were cutting ties with him, saying only that his conduct had been harmful to the organization. Those 5 words immediately sparked outrage across the sports world. Instead of apologizing, Ivey stood by everything he had said. During another live stream, he claimed he wasn't ashamed of preaching about Jesus and even suggested that NBA championships and fame would mean nothing on Judgment Day. According to him, teams would refuse to sign him because of his faith, not because of his basketball ability. But what happened next surprised almost everyone. Several professional athletes publicly supported Ivey by posting Bible verses and messages of encouragement. NFL running back Trayvon Henderson quoted Matthew 5 verse 10, while other players from both the NFL and NBA shared scriptures and defended his right to express his beliefs. Suddenly, this was no longer just about one player losing his job. It had become a nationwide conversation about faith, free speech, and the limits of personal expression in professional sports. To understand why this story became so explosive, we have to look at who Jaden Ivey really is. Born on February 13, 2002, basketball was always part of his life. His mother, Neely Ivey, built a successful career as both a WNBA player and the head coach of Notre Dame's women's basketball team. His father, Javon Hunter, played in the NFL. Growing up around professional sports, Ivey seemed destined for greatness. After starring at Purdue University, he developed into one of the nation's top college players, averaging over 17 points per game and earning All-American honors. His performances made him one of the biggest names in the 2022 NBA draft, where the Detroit Pistons selected him with the 5th overall pick. Early in his NBA career, everything pointed towards stardom. He earned all-rookie honors and looked like a future franchise player. But injuries soon began to slow his progress. Multiple leg problems and knee surgeries forced him to miss significant time, preventing him from building momentum just as his career was taking off. While recovering from those injuries, another transformation was happening away from basketball. Ivey says he completely changed his life after embracing Christianity. According to him, before finding faith, basketball was everything. He admitted struggling with alcohol, pornography, and an unhealthy lifestyle, believing success on the court would bring lasting happiness. But over time, he claimed his relationship with Jesus became more important than fame, money, or even his NBA career. That new commitment began shaping every part of his life. After being traded to the Chicago Bulls in early 2026, Ivey believed he was getting a fresh start. Instead, his focus on openly preaching his faith became stronger than ever. He regularly shared long Instagram live streams discussing religion, challenged what he believed were sinful lifestyles, and frequently spoke about Christianity both online and around the team. Inside the Bulls organization, reports suggested some teammates and staff became uncomfortable with how often he tried to preach to people around him. What started as personal faith was reportedly becoming a daily part of the locker room environment. No one realized that these growing tensions were about to lead to a decision that would shock the entire NBA. Everything reached a breaking point on March 30th, 2026, that during another Instagram Live, Jaden Ivey openly criticized the NBA's Pride Month campaign, saying the league was promoting something he believed went against his Christian faith. His comments spread across social media within hours, and the backlash was immediate. The Chicago Bulls wasted no time. Later that same day, the organization announced that Ivey had been released, stating only that his conduct had been harmful to the franchise. The brief statement answered almost nothing, leaving fans to speculate about what had really happened behind closed doors. But instead of backing down, Ivey doubled down to in another live stream. He insisted he wasn't attacking anyone personally. He said he was simply preaching what he believed the Bible teaches. According to Ivey, the Bulls and the NBA were punishing him for talking about Jesus, not for breaking any team rules. His comments quickly became even more controversial. He questioned whether famous NBA stars who publicly identify as Christians were truly standing up for their faith. He even mentioned players like Stephen Curry, suggesting that many athletes were unwilling to speak openly because they feared the consequences. Those remarks sparked another wave of criticism, with former players and fans debating whether Ivey had crossed the line. However, the biggest surprise came from fellow athletes. Instead of distancing themselves, several NFL and NBA players posted Bible verses and public messages supporting him. Trayvon Henderson shared Matthew 5 verse 10, saying, "Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake." Lakers forward Jake LaRavia posted a verse from the Gospel of John, while other professional athletes also expressed support for Ivey's right to live according to his faith. Suddenly, the conversation was no longer about just one player. Supporters argued that Ivey was being punished for expressing his religious beliefs. Critics responded that the issue wasn't his faith, but the way he repeatedly directed controversial comments toward other people and continued escalating the situation publicly. publicly. Reports from inside the Bulls organization added another layer to the story. According to multiple reports, concerns had been building for weeks before the Instagram Live. Team staff allegedly felt that Ivy had become increasingly outspoken inside the locker room, frequently discussing religion with teammates, coaches, reporters, and other staff members. Some reportedly felt uncomfortable with how often those conversations took place, that if those reports are accurate, the live stream may not have been the only reason behind the Bulls' decision. Instead, it may have been the final incident in a series of growing concerns. Still, many fans weren't convinced. They pointed to previous NBA cases where players involved in offensive comments or even more serious off-court controversies received fines or suspensions instead of immediately losing their jobs. That comparison fueled accusations of inconsistency and double standards across the league. Within days, the story had grown far beyond basketball. News outlets, sports analysts, religious leaders, and thousands of fans were all asking the same question. Did the Bulls simply enforce team standards, or had one of the NBA's most controversial debates about faith, free speech, and personal expression just begun? Whatever the answer may be, one thing was certain. Jaden Ivey's career had changed forever, and the discussion surrounding his release was only getting started as the debate continued. Many people began comparing Jaden Ivey's case to other controversies the NBA has faced over the years. Fans pointed out that several players who made offensive comments in the past received fines, suspensions, or public criticism, but not immediate release. Others compared Ivey's situation to cases involving players accused of serious off-court misconduct, arguing that the league's punishments have not always appeared consistent. Supporters saw this as evidence of a double standard. Critics, however, argued that the comparison wasn't fair. They believed the Bulls' decision wasn't based solely on one Instagram Live, but on a pattern of behavior that reportedly created tension inside the organization. If the reports about repeated confrontations with teammates, coaches, and media members were accurate, then the team may have felt the situation had become impossible to manage. That distinction became the center of the entire debate. Was Jaden Ivey released because of his Christian beliefs? Or was he released because the way he expressed those beliefs created ongoing problems within the team environment legally? The answer isn't as simple as many people think that in the United States. Private employers generally have broad authority over workplace conduct, especially when public statements affect the organization's reputation. While many people frame this as a free speech issue, employment law doesn't always prevent private companies from taking action over public behavior at the same time. Another side of Ivey's personal life was beginning to attract attention. Throughout the season, he had openly spoken about dealing with depression and the emotional struggles that came with injuries, career uncertainty, and his personal transformation. Some observers viewed his public behavior as the result of a powerful spiritual awakening. Others questioned whether he needed support beyond basketball. Regardless of where people stood, one fact remained undeniable. The conversation had grown far beyond one roster move. Professional athletes from different leagues continued sharing Bible verses and messages of encouragement, making it clear they believed this issue was bigger than basketball. To them, remaining silent wasn't an option. Whether people agreed with Ivey or not, they believed everyone should be free to express their faith without fearing professional consequences. That on the other side, many fans argued that every athlete also carries the responsibility of representing a team, a league, and millions of supporters. They believed freedom of belief does not remove accountability for public statements or workplace conduct. And that's exactly why this story became so polarizing. Both sides believed they were defending an important principle. Today, Jaden Ivey's future in the NBA remains uncertain. Injuries have already made his basketball career more difficult, and this controversy has added another major obstacle. Whether another team gives him an opportunity remains to be seen. But one thing is certain. His story has sparked a conversation that won't disappear anytime soon. IT has forced fans to ask difficult questions about faith, free speech, professional responsibility, and where sports organizations should draw the line. Some people will see Jaden Ivey as a man who stood firm in his beliefs despite the consequences. Others will see a player whose actions ultimately damaged his own career. Either way, his release has become much bigger than basketball. It's now part of a wider debate about religion, personal expression, and the expectations placed on professional athletes in today's world. And that debate is far from over.